Purine degradation. Adenine and guanine are the two common purines which get degraded to form uric acid. Adenine is 6-amino purine which gets degraded into uric acid, that is 2,6,8-trioxopurine, and guanine, which is 2-amino 6-oxopurine, which gets degraded to form 2,6,8-trioxopurine or uric acid. So for conversion of adenine to uric acid, the amino group at the sixth position has to be removed and replaced by oxo group, and the purine ring has to be oxidized at the second and eighth position to form trioxopurine or uric acid. Now how this happens? Adenosine monophosphate is a purine nucleotide from which the amino group at the sixth position of the adenine is removed by adenosine monophosphate deaminase to form inosine monophosphate. From inosine monophosphate, a phosphate group is removed by phosphomonoesterase to form inosine. Inosine is a purine nucleoside from which ribose 1-phosphate is removed by purine nucleoside phosphorylase to form hypoxanthine. Now, hypoxanthine is oxidized to xanthine by the enzyme xanthine oxidase. Xanthine oxidase enzyme is a metalloflavoprotein which contains molybdenum, FAD and iron. During oxidation of hypoxanthine to xanthine, hydrogen peroxide is produced. Now xanthine is 2,6-dioxopurine, which is then oxidized again by xanthine oxidase to form 2,6,8-trioxopurine or uric acid. Now we'll see how guanine is catabolized into uric acid. Guanine is 2-amino 6-oxopurine. For conversion of guanine into uric acid, the amino group at the second position has to be replaced by oxo group, and guanine has to be oxidized at the 8th position to form trioxourine or uric acid. Trioxopurine or uric acid. So guanosine, from guanosine, the amino group at the second position is removed by guanase to form xanthosine. Xanthosine is a purine nucleoside from which ribose 1-phosphate is removed by purine nucleoside phosphorylase to form xanthine. Xanthine is 2,6-dioxopurine, which is now oxidized by xanthine oxidase to form 2,6,8-trioxopurine or uric acid. It is 2,6,8-trioxopurine or uric acid. So uric acid is the end product of purine catabolism in human beings, but most of the amino nitrogen in human beings is excreted in the form of urea. Whereas in certain birds, amphibians and reptiles, amino nitrogen is mostly excreted in the form of uric acid. This is because uric acid is sparingly soluble in water and requires less water for its excretion, whereas urea requires more water for excretion. This prevents the birds from the need to carry heavy loads of water, thereby making them easy to fly. The lower primates and some mammals have the enzyme uricase, which converts uric acid into allantoin. Allantoin is then excreted. The normal level of uric acid in blood is 2.5 to 6 milligrams per deciliter in female, and in male it is 3.5 to 7 milligrams per deciliter, and the normal level of uric acid excreted in urine is 500 to 700 milligrams per day. The increased level of uric acid in blood is known as hyperuricemia, whereas decreased levels of uric acid in blood is termed as hypouricemia. When the excretion of uric acid in urine is increased, it is termed as uricosuriia. Uric acid in the blood and urine is estimated by phosphotungstic acid method or uricase method or HPLC. So we'll see what are the causes that will cause hyperuricemia and hypouricemia. The causes for hyperuricemia are gout, Lesch-Nyhan syndrome and von Jurke's disease, whereas the causes for hypouricemia are xanthine oxidase deficiency, adenosine deaminase deficiency and purine nucleoside phosphorylase deficiency. These are the enzymes that is involved in purine catabolism. Therefore, deficiency of these enzymes will lead to hypouricemia. What is gout? Gout is a disease which is characterized by elevated levels of uric acid in blood. The increased levels of uric acid in blood is either due to increased production or decreased excretion. Gout occurs predominantly in males. When the serum level of uric acid is increased, the uric acid gets deposited in the soft tissues, in the synovial fluids of the joints, and in the cooler areas of the body. Temperature affects the deposition of uric acid because lower temperature causes crystallization of uric acid. Now, the deposits of monosodium urate crystals in the synovial fluids of the joints is called tophi. Tophi is commonly seen in the distal foot of the distal foots, and the typical gouty arthritis affects the first metatarsophalangeal joint or the big toe. In the picture you can see typical gouty arthritis affecting the first metatarsophalangeal joint. So when the urate crystals or the monosodium urate crystals deposit at the synovial fluid, it causes an inflammatory reaction and that leads to gouty arthritis. These attacks of gouty arthritis can be precipitated by high purine diet, which is a non-vegetarian diet, or intake of alcohol. How alcohol precipitates gout? So when alcohol is consumed, the conversion of ethanol to acetate will utilize NAD. Now, due to increased utilization of NAD, the NAD available in the liver for the conversion of lactate to pyruvate is decreased. Therefore, lactate gets accumulated, causing lactic acidosis. Now, this lactate will compete with the uric acid for excretion at the renal tubular cells. Now, lactate is excreted more at the kidneys, whereas uric acid gets accumulated in the blood. This leads to hyperuricemia or precipitation of gouty symptoms. Now, kidneys are affected in hyperuricemia. Excess amount of uric acid in the kidney gets deposited there to form kidney stones or urolithiasis, which causes renal damage. Now, how to diagnose this gouty arthritis? This is by aspirating the synovial fluid and examining it using polarized light microscopy. What we will see is needle-shaped monosodium urate crystals or birefrigerant urate crystals. So that is shown in this picture. Using polarized light microscopy, when you examine the synovial fluid, you will see these birefrigerant urate crystals, which confirms the diagnosis of gouty arthritis. Now, there is another condition called pseudo-gout. In pseudo-gout, the symptoms are similar to gout, but the uric acid level in blood is normal, and the symptoms here is due to the deposition of calcium pyrophosphate crystals. What is the treatment for gout? The treatment for gout is analog of hypoxanthine, which is allopurinol. So allopurinol is a suicide inhibitor of the enzyme xanthine oxidase. Normally, hypoxanthine and xanthine is oxidized by xanthine oxidase to form uric acid, but when allopurinol is used, allopurinol is a suicide inhibitor of xanthine oxidase. Therefore, it gets converted into its active form alloxanthine by xanthine oxidase, and this active form will inhibit xanthine oxidase. Therefore, the conversion of hypoxanthine to xanthine and xanthine to uric acid is prevented. This leads to the accumulation of hypoxanthine and xanthine. Since hypoxanthine and xanthine are more soluble than uric acid, they are less likely to cause inflammatory response. Therefore, allopurinol is used in the treatment of gout. The other drugs which is used in the treatment of gout are uricosuric agents such as probenecid and sulfenpyrazone. They will increase the urinary excretion of uric acid, thereby lowering the blood uric acid levels and precipitating the symptoms of gout. Thereby they prevent the gouty attacks. There are two types of gout, primary gout and secondary gout. In primary gout, there is a familial incidence and 10% of primary gout is idiopathic. It is an inborn error of metabolism. The cause for primary gout is defect in the enzymes. used for the synthesis of purine nucleotide. So the enzymes are PRPP synthetase, which is utilized for the activation of ribose 5-phosphate, and the enzyme PRPP amidotransferase, which is the first step, which catalyzes the first step in purines, de novo synthesis of purines, that is conversion of PRPP to phosphoribosylamine, and the enzymes of salvage pathways such as hypoxanthine guanine phosphoribosyl transferase and adenine phosphoribosyl transferase. So when the enzymes of de novo synthesis of purines such as PRPP synthetase and PRPP amidotransferase are increased, or they are resistant to the feedback inhibition of purine nucleotides, that is, so normally these enzymes are regulated by feedback inhibition. When the level of purine nucleotide synthesized is higher, when the end product is higher, that will come and inhibit these enzymes. Okay, so when the end products are increased in amount, so that will inhibit these enzymes. They are regulated, this pathway is regulated by feedback inhibition. But when these enzymes are defective, and they are resistant to feedback inhibition, there is increased synthesis of purine nucleotides. So when the purine nucleotides are increased, which gets then catabolized to form uric acid, and this leads to hyperuricemia. The other cause for primary gout is decreased level of enzymes in the salvage pathway, which is HGPRTase and APRTase. So what happens here is, when the enzymes of salvage pathway are deficient, there is increased availability of PRPP. Since PRPP is the substrate for both de novo synthesis and salvage pathway, when salvage pathway is affected or is decreased due to decreased enzymes of salvage pathway, PRPP is utilized by de novo synthesis to form increased amount of purine nucleotides. These purine nucleotides then get degraded to form uric acid, leading to hyperuricemia. So what are the causes for primary gout? It is due to resistance of PRPP synthetase and PRPP amidotransferase to feedback inhibition, or decreased levels of the enzymes of salvage pathway. Okay. So the causes of primary gout are PRPP synthetase resistance to feedback inhibition, or PRPP glutamyl amidotransferase, which is resistant to feedback inhibition, or decreased enzymes in the salvage pathway, which is HGPRTase deficiency. So secondary gout is either due to increased production of uric acid or decreased excretion of uric acid in conditions such as leukemia, lymphoma, polycythemia, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, psoriasis. There is increased cell turnover or catabolism, which leads to increased production of uric acid. Whereas in conditions such as increased alcohol intake, renal failure, lactic acidosis and ketoacidosis, there is decreased excretion of uric acid. This is because in alcohol, during alcohol intake, lactate will compete with uric acid for its excretion, and in lactic acidosis and ketoacidosis also, the lactic acid and organic acids compete with uric acid for its excretion at the renal tubular cells, and during renal failure there is failure to excrete uric acid by the kidneys. So these will lead to increased uric acid accumulation in blood, leading to hyperuricemia. These are the secondary causes for hyperuricemia. Secondary causes of hyperuricemia. And also secondary causes for gout. There are certain drugs such as diuretics, aspirin and pyrazinamide, and these drugs also causes hyperuricemia. What is the other cause for hyperuricemia? It is von Jurkes disease. Von Jurkes disease is due to deficiency of the enzyme glucose 6-phosphatase. So this enzyme will convert glucose 6 phosphate to glucose, which is then utilized by glycolysis. So deficiency of this enzymes will lead to accumulation of glucose 6 phosphate. Now glucose 6 phosphate is shunted to HMP shunt pathway for the production of ribose 5 phosphate. Ribose 5 phosphate is then activated to PRPP. PRPP, which is the substrate for the synthesis of purine nucleotides, is then utilized. So increased purine nucleotide is synthesized. On degradation, it produces increased levels of uric acid in blood. Now, other cause for hyperuricemia is Lesch-Nyhan syndrome. It is an X-linked recessive inherited disorder. It is due to the complete deficiency of the enzyme hypoxanthine guanine phosphoribosyl transferase. This enzyme is involved in the salvage pathway of purine synthesis. The deficiency of this enzyme will lead to accumulation of hypoxanthine and guanine, which on degradation leads to hyperuricemia. So this syndrome occurs exclusively in the male child and the incidence is 1 in 10,000. So the enzymes of salvage pathway, that is hypoxanthine guanine phosphoribosyl transferase and adenine phosphoribosyl transferase, when these enzymes are deficient, this leads to Lesch-Nyhan syndrome. Okay, so you know the mechanism. When the enzymes are of the salvage pathway are deficient, there is increased de novo synthesis of purine nucleotides, which then catabolized to produce uric acid. What are the characteristics of Lesch-Nyhan syndrome? The symptoms of Lesch-Nyhan similar to that of gout. The patient will develop gout later in life, and due to increased uric acid in the blood, accumulation of uric acid in the kidneys leads to uric acid stones in the kidney, and deposition of uric acid in the synovial fluids causes gouty arthritis. In addition to this, the patient will also suffer from neurological manifestations. So this is a very characteristic feature of Lesch-Nyhan syndrome. The patient will suffer from neurological manifestations like motor dysfunction, cognitive defects, behavioral disturbances, particularly self-mutilation, that is biting of lips and fingers. You can see the picture of self-mutilation here. This is a characteristic feature of Lesch-Nyhan syndrome. And this neurological manifestation of Lesch-Nyhan syndrome is because brain is completely dependent upon salvage pathway for purine synthesis. When the enzyme of salvage pathway is deficient, that leads to neurological manifestations. Now, other causes, now you saw the causes for hyperuricemia, which is primary gout and the secondary gout, Von Jurke's disease, Lesch-Nyhan syndrome. Now moving on to hypouricemia, the causes for hypouricemia is adenosine deaminase deficiency. Adenosine deaminase deficiency is autosomal recessive disorder. It leads to severe combined immunodeficiency disease, that is decrease in the levels of both T cells and B cells. This is because ADA is in higher concentration in the leukocytes. Deficiency of ADA or adenosine deaminase leads to decreased T cells and B cells. So here deficiency of adenosine deaminase will lead to accumulation of adenosine, which is then increased leading to the formation of deoxyadenosine triphosphate. This deoxyadenosine triphosphate will inhibit the enzyme ribonucleotide reductase, which is required for the formation of other deoxynucleotides triphosphates. Therefore, the production of other nucleotide triphosphate is halted, and this leads to decreased production of immune cells. Antibiotics and injections of immunoglobulins are life-saving to treat this disorder. The first successful gene replacement therapy was tried for this disorder. Now, the other causes for hypouricemia are purine nucleoside phosphorylase deficiency and xanthine oxidase deficiency. These are the enzymes involved in the catabolism of purines. So, deficiency of these enzymes leads to decreased catabolism of purines, leading to hypouricemia. So the take home message is that uric acid is the end product of purine catabolism in human beings, but most of the amino nitrogen in human beings is excreted in the form of urea. The normal uric acid level in blood is about 3.5 to 6 milligrams, 6.5 milligrams per deciliter. Higher amount of uric acid in blood is called hyperuricemia. The uric acid level is decreased in blood, it is called hypouricemia. The causes for hyperuricemia is gout, von Jockeys disease and Leach-Nyhan syndrome, and the causes for hypouricemia is xanthine oxidase deficiency, purine nucleoside phosphorylase deficiency and adenosine deaminase deficiency. Thank you.